let me show you exactly how to use automations in GoHighLevel. This is going to be a masterclass for automations. Now it's even easier to create automations in GoHighLevel because we have what's called a build using AI feature. So I will also show you this feature too, but let's get right to basics. So automation, if you go to automation and if you select your sub account, by the way, if you're new to GoHighLevel, if you want to try it out for extended period of time for free, which is 30 days, you can try it out with our link down below in the description. Okay, you will also get some free automations so you can right away test these out yourself and see how your knowledge pairs after watching this video. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to log in into your sub account. Obviously go to automations, and this is where everything starts. Okay, so automations is a place where you can create automations, right? Workflows, automations or workflows is pretty much the same. And all of these workflows are pretty much being created based on some of these features that you have right here. So, for example, someone books a call in your calendar, you can automate what happens next, okay? So, a trigger is a someone books a call in your calendar, that's a trigger. So, again, also like someone submits a form. So, in your site, you have forms. When someone submits a form, something next happens, okay? This is why GoHighLevel is so powerful. So, if we go to automation here, as I said, we have build using AI, which I'm going to be covering just in a couple of minutes. But here, if we go to create workflow, and if we start from scratch, I will show you exactly what you need to know about workflows. Okay. So when you go into workflows, you obviously have this window, which is an AI window, which covers, again, a prompt. You enter a prompt, you basically create an automation based on that. We'll skip that for now. You have settings. So these are the settings for workflow. I don't usually mess around with these settings, but make sure these settings are just like this. Enrollment history, this is where you can see how many people and which people or which contacts enrolled in your automation. And you also have execution logs, which in this case, this is just going to show you when the automation executed, like what date or what dates or what time. Okay. So that's pretty much for the workflow. Okay. For the workflow settings and workflow kind of like uh, settings basically. So yeah, and then you have standard builder and you have advanced builder. So if you don't have this yet, or if you don't have this feature, don't worry, this is a new feature. So it's pretty much the same as NA10, right? But I really like for you to start in standard builder because it's going to be fairly easy for you. Okay, here you have notes, so you can obviously enter a workflow note. This I don't usually use. You have also sticky notes, so you can adjust the sticky notes if you want. These are the errors, so you can see the errors right here on this particular tab and here, which we don't have any errors because we haven't started yet. This is uh, this is just like a stats view. So the stats in the last 30 days, I will show this. Actually, let me show you this in one of these workflows here. So if I go to my another sub account, I will be able to show you this. So we run an automation here for Black Friday, and as you can see, we have 400 people enrolled. So if you click here, as you can see, this is the automation. This is where we can kind of see the errors, so we don't have any errors. And this is where we can see the pie. So stats are available for the last 30 days. As you can see, this is not for the 30 days, so we can see it right here, as you can see. So these are the stats for the email 1, for email 2, for email 3, right? So this is really cool to see, just so you can kind of see what's happening here. You can also open an like another workflow here if you want. So you can click on the workflow and it will load up right here, which is really cool. You don't have to go back to the workflows to actually use this. So that's really cool. You also have here version history. This is just like in Google Docs, when you change something, you have version history. So this is where you can see, and restore your previous versions of this workflow. And then you have also an AI, workflow AI, which is not the same as the box that I showed you previously, because here you can edit the workflow and you can click on specific workflow to edit the workflow. So for example, you can you can get help with an error. So let's say we have an error right here on this particular node. We can also edit the node right here if you click on that node. So let's say edit this workflow. We click on the node and we can go here and click point and edit, right? And we can click on that and edit that specific node, okay? But this is again for beginners, it's very easy to navigate through this. But if we go back to our another sub account, which I wanted to show you right here, and if we go to automation, let's create first workflow, okay? So here is an example, and by the way, this will be the same for any feature you want to do with workflow. So let's say we go to sites here, and as you can see, we have this form. I'm just going to show you a use case here. So we have a forms right here, and let's say we create a new form, okay? Start from scratch, we create a new form here, and let's say that form is going to be called, for this, is going to be called tutorial form, okay? And let's say we have first name, last name, phone, email. Okay, we have all of that. We can hit save. And obviously we can embed this form on a website. We can embed this form on a funnel, pretty much anywhere that we want. We can also embed this form on a specific calendar. But we're not going to be showing you this in this video. We're just going to be showing you the automation. So that form is called tutorial form. We go to automation and let's automate this form. By the way, you can automate any feature with this particular approach. So let's start from scratch here. And as you can see, we can add a trigger. So a trigger is always when something happens and then something else will happen. Okay, so trigger in this case is form submitted. So when the form is submitted, as you can see right here, we have a workflow trigger, form submitted, workflow trigger name is form submitted. This is for you, so you can obviously add this and adjust this however you want. When the form is submitted and the form is tutorial form, as you can see, we can also add multiple different filters like, terms and conditions are yes, right? So when the form is tutorial form and when terms and conditions in that form are submitted as well, then we save the trigger and we go to the next step. So this is the trigger. This is what is going to trigger the entire automation. And then we can add here another node, which in this case can be send an SMS, right? And what we can do here is we have an action name, which is an SMS. We have templates, which we don't have a template right now. We can even write SMS with AI, which is really cool. So let's say we want a formal tone, and we can say send a notification that a form has been successfully submitted, okay? Generate SMS, as you can see. And this is how it's going to look like. You use this message and you have it right here. Here you can adjust your theme if you want. Now, this is very important. When you are automating, you will need to understand how to use these custom values. Custom values are pretty much placeholders that populate, for example, name, email for that contact or whatever. Because when someone submits the form, let's say I added my name, the automation won't know what type of name this is, but if you add a custom value, if you add a contact first name, it will say, okay, hi Tim, your form has been successfully submitted, or is pretty much going to be automatically populated, okay? So that's what this is. And then obviously you can add multiple different, these custom values like email, phone. But again, this really depends on what you have in a form. So if you go back here to the form, right? If we go to sites, if we go to forms, and if we go to tutorial form right here, as you can see, we click on it. So here we have only first name, last name, phone, and email. So we can only do one of these, right? So we can add email too if we want. So instead of first name, we can say, hey, and then we can say contact email, right? So difference between contact and user is contact is someone that submits the form. User is someone within your organization. So for example, I'm the user right now. And then you have appointment, like you can add appointments right here, start date, start time, end date, end time. That's something you can also do. So these are all custom values that you have. And again, custom values will depend on what type of trigger this is right here and what type of information is being passed on to the node. Okay, so this information is being passed on to the node, so we pretty much need only that. Okay, statistics, this is where you can see all your statistics, which I showed you previously. within the nodes itself, but right now it's right here. You can also do statistics right here if you click on it. But once you do this, once you add an SMS, let's actually save this action, and this is right now saved. Okay. Now you can also add a wait node. So for example, if you don't want the automation to trigger immediately, you can add a wait node, for example, 5 minutes. Okay. So after the form is submitted, after 5 minutes are passed, you can send an SMS. And keep in mind, it's always good to go here and enter an action name just so you know how many minutes this is without clicking on the node. You can go here and you can adjust this right here. So this is really cool, okay? Now, if you want to test this workflow, we can hit save, and we can test this workflow right here by selecting a contact for this particular workflow. Now, keep in mind, this contact needs to have a phone number, because in order for this workflow to work, you also need to set up a phone number, but I will not set this up right now. I will create another separate tutorial on this because I just want to cover the automation, and you can run the test, okay? And this is basically how it's going to work. Now you can also add an email here, so you can enter an email. So again, for the email, again, it's pretty much also the same, just a little bit more kind of things you need to go through. Now let's go through some of these things right here. By the way, you can go here, and let's say you don't want to be in this builder, you can be in advanced builder. Now advanced builder is pretty much the same, just a little bit more actions here. You can pause specific nodes in workflow or unpause them, or you can delete them. You can delete them in the standard builder too. Standard builder is more static like this, and advanced builder is more like this, okay? So if you want to add something else here, we can add something else. Like, as you can see, you have create contact. So whenever a form is submitted, create a contact, wait 5 minutes, send SMS, right? So you can do that too. Like if we add create contact here, we can also add a field, and we can add here a lot of different things, like standard fields, like a business name, city, whatever. So let's say we're just going to cancel this, but yeah, as you can see, this workflow is free flowing like this. So you can kind of go and you can adjust this. Here you can format the tree if you want. Like this is just an example. Like if you have two or more nodes, you can format this. You can zoom in if you want. You can zoom out, fit to the screen, or have a selection mode. So you can select here. But usually selection mode is always, if it's right here, it's not. If you click, that's selection mode. So everything works correctly, okay? And then if you want to publish the workflow, you can always publish it here, hit save. And if you publish it, it will right now work. It will be live. And whenever someone goes through this form, everything will pretty much flow and everything will be correct, okay? Here you can see the recent changes as well, right? Recent changes, what you've got. So you click here, you can adjust these recent changes. You can redo them if you want. Again, you can hit save. Again, you can have an undo and redo as well, which is really cool. But this is essentially it, right? And then you can see enrollment history here. You can see the settings and stuff like that. So for example, for enrollment history, if you go back here, let me show you this. So if you go to our main sub account, which is a sub account that we use, and if we go to automation, this is something I haven't shown you. So if you go here, and if you go to enrollment history, this is where you would be able to see all your contacts and your current status, your date enrolled, enrollment reason, and also execution logs too. So obviously some of these are already removed. You can see the details for each execution, when it stopped, when it's executed on, the event status when it's finished. So stuff like that you can see. So also one thing that you have is, if we go back to our sub account here, and if you go to build using AI, this is really cool because you can describe what type of workflow you need, and the AI will actually go and create a workflow for you. So let's say you need lead nurturing. So as you can see, after sending a proposal, wait 24 hours, then send SMS follow-up, wait 2 more days for email follow-up, create a call task after 3 days, and move to the call stage if no response in 7 days. So as you can see, you can click here. And as you can see, this will be right here, be start building. So obviously we need to wait a little bit, but AI will build automation for us, which is really cool. And by the way, I'm not sure if you already have this. If you don't have this, watch our video on how to set this up. so that you can actually go and learn this yourself. This is very cool to learn. And then you can, as you can see, the more descriptive you are, the better this automation will be. Okay, so let's wait for this automation and let me show you and break this down for you. So as you can see, this is how it's going to look like. So it's going to look like this. So first of all, Workflow AI will give you a summary of what it built for you. So here you have workflow overview. This is really great for beginners, especially those ones who are just starting out, because here you would be able to see exact triggers, description of the trigger, and also actions added. So for example, as you can see the description here for proposal sent, which is this right here, this workflow begins when access is granted to a proposal using the product access granted trigger. This means every time you send a proposal and the contact is granted access, the workflow will start automatically. So that's, as you can see right here. And then obviously here we have, the wait node. As you can see, it's 24 hours. So wait time, 24 hours, time delay. And as you can see, resume on all the days in the week. And then obviously we have additional filters too as well right here. But yeah, that's the wait node. Then we have an email, as you can see right here. So we have email already created for us. And then we have wait 3 days again, create call task. So this is another like specific thing you can do. And then as you can see, you have contact reply, or so this is like an if node, if branch. So if the contact did reply, then end it. If it didn't reply, or when what happens after timeout, then move contact to cold stage. Okay. So this is like the pipeline. So this is essentially how it works. Now let me show you also one way how you can trigger workflows without actually triggering them with a trigger. So you can also do that. So if you go back here, I'll just delete this workflow because I don't need it. But if you go to contacts, so this is where you can pretty much trigger any workflow based on specific contacts. So let's say you want to trigger a workflow for 3 different contacts right here, or for 50, or for 100, 1,000, whatever. You can upload 10,000 prospects right here. We already did a video on this one. You can just import contacts with CSV. And let's say these contacts are your potential clients and you want to send them a message, let's say an outreach message, right? An outreach campaign. You can do that by selecting all of these, and you can click here, add to automation. And when you add to automation, you need to select a workflow here. So you need to select an automation right here. So let's say this one, and we can add here and say test, okay? And we can send this all at once. And if we add this to automation, they will be added to automation. We can check the progress right here for that specific automation, as you can see. So this is essentially how you can add people to the automation. It's really cool because this, is really cool for automating outreach. So for example, if we go to our sub account here, we go to automations, and we already have an automation here for outreach, as you can see. And this is how it looks like, right? So we have a trigger, which is a contact tag. So whenever we add a contact tag to a specific contact, or whenever we add automation to specific contacts, this will trigger, okay? So not only can you trigger with your trigger, you can also trigger by adding specific people to your automation. And then they will be right on the email 1 in this case. So this will be step 1, okay? So as you can see, this is how the outreach campaign looks like. It's a simple outreach campaign. You have email 1, wait, email 2, wait, email 3, wait, and this is over the course of 30 days. So this is the simplest way how you can kind of set this up for your outreach campaigns and for your agency. So this is something that I already created a tutorial on, so make sure to check that out on the channel too. But this is essentially all the things and all the basics you need to know about automations. Again, if you want to know more about specific things, comment below. I will create and cover a video around that. Also, make sure to check out our 30-day free trial link down below in the description if you want to test this out for yourself, to even see if GoHighLevel is something you would be able to, integrate within your own business. And if it's something that you like, because this is something that I'm using for my own business, okay? So if you have any questions, make sure to comment below, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.